Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are doing something. Well, something that might actually be dangerous. Usually when we sit down at this desk, we scatter the papers, we look at the data, and we try to find the logic. We try to find the clear path through the noise of the world. But today we are opening a case file that comes with a legitimate warning label.
It is certainly a departure from our standard operating procedure. Usually we are observers, we look at a topic from the outside, but this topic, the source material suggests that you can't just observe it. It suggests that by observing it, you become part of it. We are looking at what intelligence agencies or, internet archivists might call an information hazard.
An info hazard. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel. But we are talking about folklore.
We are. In the West, you might think of things like Rocco's basilisk or the old cursed chain email tropes. But in Japan, the case we are looking at today is often cited as the king of net lore. It is a story so virulent, so specific in its mechanics, and so physically affecting to those who read it that it is widely considered a search term you should never look up.
That is a heck of a hook, and we are talking, of course, about the KOTORI BAKO.
The KOTORI BAKO, if you translate that literally, it means the child-stealing box, or perhaps even more disturbingly, the child-taking box.
Just the name gives you a shiver. Child-taking. It implies a theft, a removal.
Exactly. It isn't just about death. It's about the subtraction of a future, and that is the core of what we are dealing with today.
So here is the mission for this deep dive. We have a massive stack of sources here. We have the original digital folklore threads from the Japanese bulletin board 2chan dating back to June 2005. We have a master's thesis from Duke University that analyzes the sociology behind this phenomenon. And we have historical records regarding the Okisuda Revolt of 1868.
But we aren't just going to mix them all together in a blender. To really understand the KOTORI BAKO, we have to respect the structure of the phenomenon itself. This wasn't written as a novel. It wasn't presented as a campfire story. It was presented as witness testimony.
Right. It was presented as, this is happening to me right now.
Exactly. So for the first part of this deep dive, let's call it phase 1. We are going to treat this strictly as an investigation. We are going to walk through the incident as it was described by the witnesses. We are going to treat the folklore as a lived historical event. We aren't going to debunk it yet. We aren't going to analyze the literary themes yet. We are just going to try to survive the narrative.
I love that approach. We're going to inhabit the story.
And then, once we have established what happened, or what was claimed to have happened, we will switch to phase 2. We will turn on the lights, we will put on our clinical hats, and look at the history, the psychology, and the very real atrocities that might have birthed this legend.
I'm ready if you are. But before we step into the house where this happened, I have to ask about the object itself. The reputation of this thing is legendary. But what does it actually look like? In my head, I'm picturing a coffin or an urn or something covered in blood.
That's the first trick it plays on you. It doesn't look like a weapon. It looks like a toy.
A toy.
A puzzle box. Specifically, a wooden cube, roughly 20 centimeters wide. It's made of intricate, interlocking timber. If you've ever been to a souvenir shop in Hakone, Japan, you've seen Yasegizaiku traditional marquetry. It looks like that. Beautiful geometric patterns.
So it looks like something you'd see on a coffee table, something you'd want to pick up and fiddle with.
Precisely. It invites interaction. It looks like a puzzle you are meant to solve. But according to the lore, this isn't a game. It is a biological and spiritual weapon designed with a very specific, very cruel targeting system.
A targeting system.
It doesn't just kill anyone who touches it. It targets bloodlines.
Yeah.
And specifically, it targets the capacity for life itself. It hunts women of childbearing age and children.
And if you are a man,
you are largely immune. You might get spooked, you might feel a heavy atmosphere, but you won't die.
That is a terrifying asymmetry.
But it is. It means a father or grandfather could bring this into the house, thinking it's a beautiful antique, and be completely fine. While the women and children around him are destroyed, it weaponizes the patriarch's ignorance against his own family.
Okay, that raises the stakes significantly. Let's open the case file. Where does this start?
It starts in June 2005, but the event in question happens shortly before that. The setting is mundane. We are in a standard Japanese home. The narrator, who we will refer to as A, is hosting a casual get-together. It's a drinking night.
Just friends hanging out.
Exactly. Nothing supernatural, just video games, snacks, maybe some beer.
Who's in the room?
You have the narrator, A. You have his friend, M. Now, we need to talk about M. M is the pivot point of this entire story.
Why is M so important?
M comes from a lineage of Shinto priests. His family runs a large shrine in the region. He isn't a full-time priest himself. He's just a normal guy in his 20s, but he has what they call the sight.
The sight.
He's the canary in the coal mine. He's the guy who gets a headache before you walk into a haunted tunnel. He senses things that others miss.
Okay, so we have A, the host. We have M, the spiritual radar. Who else?
We have K, who is M's girlfriend, and they are waiting for a fourth friend, a woman named S. They're just killing time, playing games. And then the phone rings.
It's S.
It's S. She says, "Hey, I'm running a little late. I was helping my family clean out the old shed in the backyard, but you won't believe what I found." It's this really cool wooden puzzle box. It looks expensive. I'm bringing it over to show you guys.
And I assume M, the priest's son, doesn't know this yet.
No, M is completely oblivious. He's just relaxing, maybe losing at Mario Kart. But about 40 minutes later, S's car pulls into the driveway. And this is where the atmosphere in the room doesn't just shift, it breaks.
Breaks out.
Before S even steps foot in the house, M freezes. He stops playing. He stands up and looks out the window at the driveway.
He can feel it from the car.
He feels it through the walls. He goes pale. He starts muttering to himself, "No way, this can't be. Dad's out today. This is not good. Why is Dad out today?"
Dad's out today, meaning his father, the head priest, isn't available to save them.
Precisely. He realizes instantly that whatever is in that car is way above his pay grade, and his backup is gone. He is on his own.
That is a classic horror trope, isolation. Even in a house full of friends, he is spiritually isolated.
And then the door opens. S walks in, smiling, completely oblivious. She is holding the object, a wooden cube made of blocks like Tetris pieces mashed together, a beautiful, intricate woodwork.
Yeah.
M loses his mind. He screams.
What does he say?
He yells, "Don't touch it. Put it down. Get away from it." He scrambles backward, tripping over himself, runs to the bathroom, and locks the door.
He runs away.
He runs to purge. We hear sounds of violent vomiting from the bathroom.
Vomiting. From fear.
Yes, but this is a key detail. It's not just fear. It's not, "I have a bad feeling about this." It is a somatic, physical rejection. His body is trained to expel the presence of the object.
That makes it so much more visceral. It grounds the supernatural in biology.
Exactly. He comes back out a few minutes later. He's shaking. Tears are streaming down his face. He looks like he's been through a war. He pulls out his phone and calls his father.
The high priest?
And the narrator, A, is listening to this one-sided conversation. He hears M sobbing, and then he hears M say the name. It's the KOTORI BAKO. My friend brought the KOTORI BAKO.
He names it.
He recognizes it on sight. It's not a mystery to him. It's a nightmare he recognizes. And he confirms the threat level to his father. He says, "There is a triangle piece inside. It's a shippo."
Shippo. We will get to the ranking system later, but I assume Shippo is bad.
From his reaction, it's catastrophic. M hangs up the phone. He wipes his face. He sits in Seiza, that formal, traditional kneeling position, right there on the living room floor. He slaps his knees with his palms.
Getting his head in the game.
He decides he has to act because he realizes that if he doesn't do something right now, S is going to die.
Right there in the living room.
The process has already started. S is a young woman. She is the target demographic. The box is radiating an energy that is actively corrupting her internal organs. M looks at the narrator, A, and demands a knife.
A knife.
A box cutter, a kitchen knife, anything sharp.
This escalated so fast. We went from cool puzzle box to give me a knife in like 5 minutes.
M is terrified. He's screaming to hype himself up, yelling, "Don't underestimate me, Grandpa, just you watch." He's trying to summon the courage to perform a ritual he isn't fully trained for. He grabs the knife, he looks at A and says, "Pinch my thigh as hard as you can."
To distract from the pain.
Exactly, because M takes the knife and slices his own finger and palm open. He needs blood. Fresh, flowing blood.
Oh, wow.
And then he does something that is truly hard to listen to. He forces his bleeding finger into S's mouth.
He forces her to drink his blood.
He jams his hand into her mouth. He's screaming at her, "Drink it! Swallow it! Don't you dare spit it out!" S is crying, she's choking, she's gagging on the blood, but she swallows.
Why? I mean, what is the logic there?
In Shinto belief, you often see salt or sake used for purification. But blood. Blood is life. Blood is a barrier. M is trying to build a shield inside her body. He is using his lineage, his priestly blood, to counteract the corruption.
It's like an emergency transfusion of spiritual power.
Exactly. And while she is swallowing his blood, M is chanting.
What is he chanting?
The sources are specific. He recites, Notenju norio shinmaiwato akemashita.
Shimewato Akamishita. That means the cave of the gods has opened.
It's an archaic prayer. It references the myth of Amaterasu hiding in the cave. He repeats this 5-6 times rhythmically while the blood drips down S's chin, and then the purge happens.
Deep purge.
M pulls his hand away. S leans forward and vomits, but she doesn't throw up the blood she just drank. She doesn't throw up dinner. She throws up a solid, dark, bloody mass.
A mass. Like a tumor.
The narrator describes it as a clot of darkness, something physical that was sitting in her stomach. M yells, it's out, you're gonna be okay.
So the box would put something inside her.
Metaphysically, yes. The curse manifests as a physical parasite. By drinking the priest's blood, she forced the parasite out.
That is incredibly graphic.
It creates a reality to the curse. It's not just bad luck, it's a foreign body intrusion. M immediately turns his attention to the box. He covers it with his bloodied hands, using his own blood as a seal. He calls his father again, puts him on speakerphone, and they chant together to seal it temporarily. He wraps the box in a towel, refusing to touch the wood directly.
NS. Is she okay?
She's traumatized, she's covered in blood and vomit, but she is alive. The immediate danger is past. M, however, is wrecked.
I can imagine.
He is absent from work for 8 days after this. He falls ill. The energy drain was immense. When he finally meets up with the narrator again, he looks haunted. He looks 10 years older. And this is when he finally sits them down and reveals the true nature of the item they found.
The why. What is inside the box?
He tells them. Inside that box is hatred itself. But physically, he explains the construction. The box contains the fingertips and umbilical cords of dead children.
Ugh. That is vile.
It is. It's organic waste. It's death. But before we get to the origin of those parts, which is the darkest part of this file, we have a logic problem to solve.
Purchase.
Why was this in S's shed?
Right. M recognized it. His father recognized it. That implies this is a known object. So why did S just stumble upon it next to the lawnmower?
This leads us to the neighbor, a man named Jay. A few days after the incident, S's family mentions they are going to demolish that old shed. The neighbor, Jay, comes running over. He is frantic. He is begging them not to tear it down.
He knows it's there.
He knows. The group A, M, S, and her family confronts Jay. They corner him, and Jay breaks down. He confesses. He tells them about the guardianship system.
A system. So this wasn't just a random cursed object. It was being managed.
It was being jailed.
Yeah.
Jay explains that the KOTORI BAKO, specifically the one S found, was too powerful for the shrine to destroy completely. So the local shrine set up a management system to weaken it over decades.
How does that work?
Dilution. 3 families in the neighborhood, S's family, Jay's family, and a third family, T, were in a rotation.
Like a neighborhood watch, but for a demon.
Exactly. The rules were simple but strict. You keep the box in a damp, dark place. You never tell the women or children in your house that it exists. And when the head of the household dies, the box is passed secretly to the next family in the rotation.
So it moves from house to house, like a hot potato of death.
Yes. The idea is that the curse never settles in one place long enough to wipe out a family completely, provided it stays hidden.
So what went wrong?
Human error, or rather, human cowardice. S's grandfather had the box. He was the guardian. When he died, it was Jay's turn to take it.
Okay.
But JJ was scared. He admits it. He says, I was terrified. I knew it wouldn't kill me because I'm a man, but I couldn't bring myself to touch it. So when S's grandfather died, he didn't pick it up.
He ghosted his duty.
He left it in S's shed. And because the rules say don't tell the women or children, S's father didn't know it was there. The grandfather died before he could pass the secret on. So the box just sat there, festering uncontrolled, until S decided to do some spring cleaning.
Jay gambled with S's life to save his own peace of mind.
He did. He thought, I'll just leave it there for my term, which is supposed to be years, and then I'll sneak it out later when it's the next guy's turn.
That is terrifyingly human. It's a bureaucratic failure. The system relied on integrity, and integrity failed.
It serves as a reminder that most tragedies aren't caused by malice, but by negligence. M is furious, of course, but he explains that the box S found was a shippo. And that name, shippo, forces us to look at the origin story.
Where does a thing like this come from? Who makes a puzzle box filled with umbilical cords?
We have to go back to the late 1860s. The narrator recounts a flashback, a story told by M. We are in the Izumo region, Shiman Prefecture, a rural, isolated village.
In the 1860s, that's a volatile time in Japan.
Meiji Restoration, the fall of the samurai, civil war, and in this village, the people are living in a nightmare. The sources imply heavily that this is a Buraku village.
We should define that for the listeners.
Burakumin refers to a distinct social class in Japan that was historically ostracized. They worked in unclean professions: executioners, butchers, tanners, handling dead bodies. They were forced to live in segregated villages and faced severe discrimination, poverty, and persecution.
So these are people who are already treated as less than human.
They are starving. They are being crushed by taxes and oppression from the local officials. Desperate people, desperate enough that they are practicing mabiki.
Mbiki.
It translates literally to thinning, like you thin out a row of radishes so the others can grow. But historically, it referred to infanticide.
Killing their own children.
Killing newborns because the family simply could not feed another mouth. It was a horrific reality of poverty in that era. Sending them back, they called it.
So you have a village of people who are already traumatized, already mourning, already dealing with the guilt of killing their own flesh and blood.
Into this village walks a stranger. The lore calls him Kajitani, or simply the stranger. He is fleeing a revolt, specifically the Okisuda uprising. He's an outsider. He's being hunted. The villagers want to kill him to avoid trouble with the authorities.
But he makes a deal.
He says, "If you spare me, I will give you a weapon. A weapon to take revenge on the people who are oppressing you. A weapon to make them feel the pain you feel."
The box.
The Tori BAKO. He teaches them the construction. You build a complex wooden puzzle, something that looks innocent. You fill it with the blood of a female beast to act as a medium. And then, the sacrifice. You use the parts of the children you were forced to kill.
I can't even imagine the psychological state required to agree to that.
It's vengeance born of absolute despair. The stranger gives them a ranking system. 1 child sacrifice is an ipao, 2 is nihu, 3 sanpao, all the way up to 7 chipao.
And the box S found. M called it a shipao.
Which M later clarifies corresponds to the 7-child level, or chipao. The phonetics get a bit muddled in the oral transmission, but it's the highest level the villagers made.
So 7 children's remains are in that box S held.
Correct. 7 fingertips. 7 umbilical cords. Intestines soaked in blood, the stranger told them. The more children, the stronger the curse. And the curse is specific. It shreds the internal organs of women and children in the target family. It wipes out the lineage.
It's a genocide weapon. You send it to the official who oppresses you, and his entire bloodline ends.
And it worked. They made the first box a chipao. They gave it to the oppressive village official as a gift, a bribe. Every woman and child in the official's house died in agony. They vomited blood and died. The villagers realized they had power. For the first time, they could strike back. They went on to make 16 boxes over 13 years.
16. That is an arsenal.
16 nuclear weapons made of wood and grief. But then, as these things always do, they lost control.
What happened?
A village boy, one of their own, stole a box to play with. He thought it was a toy. He took it home. His whole family died. The mothers, the sisters, the babies. The villagers realized they had created a monster that didn't know the difference between friend and foe. It just killed.
It just kills. Terrified of their own creation, they went to the local Shrine M's ancestors and begged for help.
And that's how the guardianship system started. The shrine couldn't destroy them, so they just locked them away.
They dispersed them. But here is the narrative cliffhanger, the loose end that keeps me up at night.
Oh.
The stranger, Kajitani. He made one special box, the Hakai.
Hakai. 8.
8 children, plus 1 woman. But the name is different. The others end in Hiuepao ni Hu. The kanji for hell usually implies sealing or wrapping, but Hakai. Hakai means 8 openings, or 8 hell gates.
That does not sound like a seal. That sounds like an exit.
Exactly. The stranger took the Hakai with him when he left the village. Its location is unknown. The narrator, A, ends his story on the internet by asking the readers a simple question. Does anyone know where the Hakai is?
Chilling. Just chilling. So that is the case file. That is the story that terrified the Japanese internet in 2005.
A story of blood, vengeance, and a puzzle that must not be solved. Okay, let's take a breath. Everyone, shake it out. We need to step back from the campfire now. We are going to switch on the lights. We are going to look at this through the lens of our expert sources. Because what is fascinating to me is that this isn't just a ghost story. It's grounded in some very real, very dark history.
It is, and this is where we turn to the work of researchers, like those who've analyzed the story as a prime example of net lore.
Net lore. Folklore of the internet.
Yes, but unlike Slender Man or The Backrooms, which are purely fictional creations, KOTORI BAKO anchors itself in historical reality. It uses what we call ostension. It points to real things to make the fake things seem real. Let's talk about that revolt the stranger fled from, the Oki Pseudo.
That was a real thing.
100% real. It happened in 1868. The Oki Islands are just off the coast of Shimane. There was a massive uprising. The local populace revolted against the feudal administration during the chaos of the Meiji Restoration. They actually kicked out the officials and declared autonomy for a brief period.
So the timeline fits. The stranger fleeing a failed revolt in 1868 matches the lore perfectly.
It gives the story a veneer of truth. It allows the reader to Google Oki Revolt 1868 and see real results. This tricks the brain into accepting the rest of the story, the blood magic, the boxes, as plausible.
Then there was the geography, Izumo. You mentioned Izumo in the intro. Why is that significant?
Izumo is arguably the holiest place in Japan. It is the site of the Izumo Taisha Shrine. In Shinto belief, October is called Kanazuki everywhere else in Japan, the month without gods, because all the gods leave their local shrines to go to a conference.
And where is the conference?
In Izumo. So in Izumo, October is called Kamirizuki, the month with gods.
So you have the holiest, most god-saturated place in Japan.
Yeah.
And it is the birthplace of this godless, horrific curse.
It is a deliberate inversion. The academic sources point out that this juxtaposition is what makes the story so unsettling. It places the ultimate evil right next to the ultimate holy. It suggests that even in the land of the gods, there are pockets of darkness that the gods cannot touch.
Let's unpack the sociological angle, the Buraku connection. You mentioned the villagers were outcasts.
This is critical. The story never explicitly uses the word burakumen, which is a taboo topic in Japan even today, but the markers are all there. The leatherwork, the location, the extreme poverty, the discrimination.
And the mabiki, the infanticide.
This is where the horror becomes psychological. The story suggests that the villagers were forced to kill their own children due to poverty caused by the officials. The box, the KOTORI BAKO. It takes that trauma, that guilt of killing your own child, and weaponizes it.
It's essentially saying, you made us kill our children, so now our dead children will kill yours.
Precisely. It is a curse of retributive justice. It turns the victim's greatest pain into their greatest weapon. And notice the target. It destroys the oppressor's lineage. It's not about killing the official, it's about ending his family line. It is an attack on the future.
Which mirrors what was done to the villagers. Their future was being destroyed by poverty.
It is a cycle of violence solidified into wood. And the Duke thesis, for instance, argues that this story resonates so much in modern Japan because it taps into a fear of contamination.
Contamination.
The fear that the old ways, the rural superstitions, the dark history of discrimination, the things modern Japan wants to forget are still out there, waiting in a shed. And if you, a modern person with your car and your video games, stumble across it, it can still get you.
It's the return of the repressed.
Exactly. Freud's concept of the uncanny, the unheimlich, the familiar, a wooden toy, a home becoming terrifying. The narrator, A, is a modern guy. He's skeptical. He likes quizzes. He represents the listener. And M represents the bridge to that ancient, scary past.
Speaking of the listener, we have to talk about the digital curse aspect, because the story didn't just stay on a screen.
No, this is one of the most famous examples of an info hazard. When this story was posted on 2chan in 2005, it caused a panic. Readers reported real physical symptoms: nausea, headaches, phantom pains in their abdomen.
Just from reading text on a screen?
Yes. It's mass psychogenic illness, or the placebo effect in reverse, the nocebo effect. The story is written so convincingly, with such visceral details, the blood drinking, the vomiting, that your body reacts.
It feels like the ring tape from The Ring. You watch it, you die. You read this, you get sick.
The Duke thesis classifies this as hierogami fleeting deities, or trends. Digital folklore that spreads like a virus. The medium of the internet is the new oral tradition. And the terrifying part of the KOTORI BAKO legend is the idea that knowing about it puts you at risk.
Wait, does it?
Well, think about the mechanics of the story. Jay's family had to guard it, but how does the curse spread? It spreads through contact. And in the digital age, contact is information. By reading the thread, you are essentially peeking into the box.
That is a lovely thought to share with our listeners right now. You are welcome, everyone.
But there is a loose end that the analysis points out, a mathematical one.
To count.
The narrator says there were 16 boxes. Most were destroyed or accounted for by the shrine. But in the 2005 thread, M implies that 2 boxes were still missing.
Tuchapo, the strong ones.
2 boxes are unaccounted for. And then there is the Hakai, the stranger's box. The 8 openings.
What is the theory on the Hakai? If the others seal the grudge, what does the Hakai open?
That is the ultimate speculation. Some theories suggest the Hakai doesn't just kill a bloodline, It brings something in. It opens a door to the other side. A Pandora's box that releases a calamity far worse than death.
And nobody knows where it is.
It vanished with the stranger. Maybe it's buried. Maybe it's in a museum mislabeled as a puzzle box. Maybe it's in an antique shop in Kyoto right now.
That is the lingering horror. It's an object. It could be anywhere.
And that is why this story endures. It's tangible. It's not a ghost in the hallway. It's a box in the shed.
So what does this all mean? We have a story that combines 19th century socio-political trauma with 21st century digital anxiety.
I think KOTORI BAKO serves as a warning. It's a warning that you cannot bury the past. The villagers tried to bury their pain in these boxes. Jay tried to bury his responsibility in the shed. But it always resurfaces. The history of discrimination, of poverty, of the things people did to survive. It sits there, waiting to be found.
And when it is found, it demands to be felt. You can't just intellectualize it, you have to physically purge it, like S did.
Exactly. It demands a reaction.
Well, I certainly had a reaction today. I don't think I'll look at a puzzle box the same way again.
I don't think you should.
We have covered the narrative, the history, and the sociology. But I want to leave the listener with one final thought.
Go ahead.
The entire premise of the guardianship system relied on secrecy. The box loses power if it is kept hidden, passed silently from guardian to guardian. Jay failed because he was scared. But now, thanks to the internet, thanks to that 2chan thread, and thanks to this deep dive,
Millions of people know about it.
we know the name.
Yeah.
We know the ritual. We know the origin.
Right.
If secrecy was the seal.
Then we've shattered it completely.
Sleep well, everyone.